Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am transplanting my pak choi because it is a cold weather plant, or a cool weather plant, sorry. So this raised bed that is in the midst of my hydroponic system is in a cool area underneath or close to my Saskatoon berry tree. So this is a cool area, so I am putting the pak choi over here. I did not realize just how many of them I have because I've transplanted out half of this bed already. I still have a box of them down there to transplant, and I still have some in the house that I need to transplant, plus I have some that I plant in the garden over there. So I have a lot of pak choi, so I don't mind that because it's a green leafy vegetable. I love those, so that's pretty good. So I have transplanted most of them. This is what I have left, and hoping that this amount will be able to at least fit in this box. I was hoping to have 2 different crops in this box, but on account of the fact that I have so many pak choi, I'm just gonna fill it out with the pak choi, and hopefully I can find somewhere else to put the others. If I don't, then I will try to find someone who might be interested in it, because I have a lot of things that I need to plant out. I have pak choi, I have Chinese cabbage, I have carrot, I have tomatoes, I have cucumbers, I have corns, I have green beans, I have broad beans, I have callaloo, and quite a few other stuff, lettuce and all. So I don't think the amount of raised beds and the regular garden that I have will be enough to hold what I have to plant, but that's good. Yes, so there's my strawberry. I transplanted them 2 days ago. I was a bit concerned because of the thunderstorm that we had. There those dogs go again. Once I'm videoing outside, they start to make noise. Right, so I was a bit concerned about them, but they survived the night. My daughter has one in her bed, and she's so excited she called the little brother out today to show him. So they're looking quite healthy. They're looking better than they were in the container that I bought them in. These in here are also strawberries, but there are some wild strawberries that I got from a friend's property. So I'm gonna get back to transplanting. My pak choi. I'm wondering if I'm gonna need to cover them because we haven't passed our last frost yet, but no big deal. I have plastic in case I need to cover them. Seems as if I left my gloves inside. The soil is wet from all that rain last night, so I'm not going to be watering them. I'm getting in the way of the screen, I know. And be gentle with them as I'm taking them out of the container, because I don't want to damage them. And I just give the root, or the soil around the root, a gentle squeeze, both to get them out, and as I'm putting it in the ground, I just give it a gentle squeeze. The soil is very loose, so I don't have to worry about root knots or root binding. And they are looking pretty good. The other day they were turning yellow because they didn't have enough sunlight. They were inside for about a week because it was too cold and overcast outside, so I didn't put them out for that period of time, so they got no sunlight and they were low on nutrients. So I used some of my worm castings to make some worm tea for them, and 2 days I use it to spray them, fertilize them, and so they have regained their natural color. So I'm happy for that. I really thought I was going to lose them. They looked so droopy. I'm gonna see how these are going to do, because this particular set that I sowed, my sister brought the seeds from, not these seeds, but she brought me some pak choi seeds last year, and I started some indoors. They didn't do so well. They grew tall, but they didn't do very well where I could harvest them, and I sowed some of the seeds in my first raised bed last year. Those didn't do so well either. They just went straight into seeding. And so I decided that rather than taking them out, I would just let them stay there, produce the flowers, produce the seeds, because the flowers were beautiful and they were attracting all the bees in the garden. So I was happy for that. And then I harvested the seeds that they produced. So these are the offspring from the original set that I got from Jamaica. So I don't know if it is because they're not accustomed to our temperatures here in Saskatchewan, if that's why they didn't produce so well. But anyway, these are the offspring, and since the seeds were started here, then I'm hoping that it will do better. It would be a shame to waste all this garden for nothing. Oh, I should tell you about this raised bed too. I was composting some leaves in here over the fall, and so this one was not heating up the way I wanted it to. I'm not sure the reason, because all the other bins were heating up properly. And nothing that I did, this one would not heat up, so I decided to take all of that composting material out and put it with my other compost bin. And I left just a little bit of the material on the bottom of the bed, and then I put soil, and then I put some more of the composting material, and then some more topsoil. And then in that I had quite a few of my red wigglers, with the hope that they will compost the material, or they will eat the material and give me castings for this bed, so that I won't need to fertilize this bed. So all my raised beds are going to have worms in them, and they say red wigglers cannot survive the winter. I guess that depends on where they are. And when I say where they are, I'm talking about even in cold environments like Saskatchewan, that your temperatures can actually feels like -60. And I'm not talking Fahrenheit, I'm talking Celsius. So I guess it depends on where they are, because in the raised bed that I have right there, last year I put a pound of worms in there, and I harvested the worms out of it during the fall, and I took out the compost that was in it, because that raised bed only had compost, no other soil, which was not a good idea. Anyway, I harvested the worms out of it. I took out the soil and I put it in the garage because it was filled with eggs, and I didn't want the eggs to just sit there and go to waste waiting on warm weather to be hatched. So I harvested those. But this year, last year I put a lot of leaves. I filled the entire bin with leaves. And then I noticed this year that as I was going through the leaves, turning the compost in there were quite a few red wigglers moving around. So I realized that yes, these guys can survive the winter, but it depends on where they on where they are. I was very surprised to see that. And even in my garden, when I bought my red wigglers 2 years ago, the lady had placed some in my garden, and I noticed that even in there, because I had put the dried leaves about 18 inches high on top of the soil for the entire garden, so I noticed that I had red wigglers in there when I move out a lot of the leaves this time around. So yes, they can survive the cold, but we'd have to provide them with some amount of insulation. But I think the vast majority of them would die if you leave them outdoors. Okay, so that's it for now. I'm just gonna go and try do some more cleaning of the yard. It is a total mess, but I have so much work to do. I have to make sure that I get the gardens ready for planting, because our last frost is in 3 days. So I have to make sure the garden is ready before I can spend time to concentrate on cleaning up the yard. So I'm just gonna be doing that. So if you enjoy my video, please don't forget to share it with your friends, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done so. Thank you for watching, and have yourself a wonderful day.